The Denver Nuggets lose their third straight game, and things seem to just not be going right for the Denver Nuggets. We're going to talk about what happened yesterday versus the Sacramento Kings, some of the concerns that I have with the way things have been going in the short term, long term. Does this change the projection for the Denver Nuggets for the rest of the season? We're going to talk about all that and more here, Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, y'all, to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. We're so thankful that you are here with us today. Man, the Denver Nuggets lose their third straight game, and for whatever reason, the Denver Nuggets are in kind of a can't-get-right stage of the season. We're headed into the All-Star break, and yet not riding a high. We are instead riding a three-game losing streak, and there's a lot of stuff to tap into. But, y'all, thank y'all so much for being here with us today. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Harry. I see everybody in the chat. I hope you're having a great start to your Thursday. I hope you're having a great start to your All-Star break, where you don't have to watch Denver Nuggets basketball for about a week as they get ready for basically the last 27 games of the season, and they get ready for the All-Star game as well for Nikola Jokic. So it's going to be fun, I do think. I do think that even with all the stuff that's not going well, the Denver Nuggets are in a really good position to do some really special things this year. But right now, it just hasn't been pretty basketball for your reigning NBA champion. So last night, the Denver Nuggets lose a nail biter. No Jamal Murray, no KCP to Sacramento in Denver in just their fifth loss at home this entire season. The Denver Nuggets, they lose 102-98. Jokic has probably his worst game of the year given the context. Given the fact that Joker had a 4-point blowout win versus Detroit, an 8-point blowout win versus Dallas, there was just a lot of things that had not gone right yesterday. Jokic has 15, 5, and 8. He goes 6 of 11 from 2, but he goes 0 of 6 from 3 yesterday. He's 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 1 block, and he was a -4. And again, this is versus a Kings team that came off the second night of a back-to-back, had just lost to the Suns, and the Nuggets, when they needed to get another win, they had lost 3 straight. The last time they lost 3 straight or 2 straight was in December. And yesterday, they just did not have the giddy up. They started the game off really well defensively in the first half. They were really tracking. They were everywhere they needed to be. They were making sure the rotations were crisp. The defense played very well. They were up 53-41 in the first half, 27-16 in the first quarter. And the team was playing really, really well. But Michael Porter Jr. started the game off really well. Jokic had a nice isolation that led from a spin, scored on Domantas Sabonis. Colin Gillespie yesterday got in the game because there's no Jamal Murray. He was the backup point guard to Reggie Jackson, which we're definitely going to talk about in the second segment. Colin starts off the game with 2 steals. AG gets a dunk. Christian Brown gets a wide-open three-pointer. Zeke Naji, y'all, comes in yesterday. He had a stretch in the first half where he scored 6 points and got 2 rebounds. Man, it was a really, really, really good performance from Zeke. And again, defensively, they were locked in. Offensively, they were struggling. It was 53-41 at half. But it looked like this should be a game that the Denver Nuggets take care of. It looked like this should be a game that the Denver Nuggets put away. Aaron Gordon started off 6 of 6 from the free throw line as well. But in the third quarter, everything kind of fell apart. Christian Brown missed 2 free throws in that quarter. The offense stalled out in that quarter. Nothing was going well. Nothing was going right for the Denver Nuggets at all. And it was really a very painful experience to watch. The Nuggets yesterday just didn't have enough from their starters. MPJ had 19, 4, and 2 last night. He had 8 of 17 from the field. He was 3 of 7 from 3. Meaning he was 5 of 10 from the 2-point line. That's not a bad game. The rebounds just weren't there. Aaron Gordon had 25 points and 15 rebounds yesterday. He had 2 assists. I mean, honestly, MPJ and AG, they combined for 44 points. And between the two of them, that's plenty. 19 rebounds. 19 rebounds between the two of them, 4 assists between the two of them. That should have been enough. But again, Jokic just didn't have a good game yesterday. He wasn't being aggressive offensively. He just looks like he just needs a break as he gets ready for the All-Star game. And then really outside of that, just to get a chance to sit down and just relax a little bit. Reggie Jackson, 12 points and 9 assists yesterday. His numbers, he was also a +1. Michael Porter was a -12. Jokic was a -4. Now, some of this was because of that second unit stint. And in particular, the first unit stint wasn't bad. It was the second unit stint that was terrible. And Porter was in there staggering. And they gave up a really, 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 really bad lead. They were up 16 at one point in the second half, y'all. They just could not find the rhythm. And it wasn't like Zach was playing super well yesterday. They scored 102 points. They weren't even shooting well yesterday. Yesterday, if you look at the splits, the Nuggets shot 39% from the field and 35% from three. Zach shot 44% from the field and 27% from three. The Nuggets were 19 to 22 at the free throw line for 86%. They shot better than Zach everywhere but the field. But the problem is the Nuggets had 13 turnovers. Zach had 14. The Nuggets had 27 assists yesterday. They lost the rebounding body 45 to 48. But ultimately, man, the game was lost just because the Nuggets just could not secure rebounds to end the game. There's just not a lot of energy right now with this team. And there's some stuff that I really want to tap into in the second segment because I think there's just some overall scope stuff. But yesterday was just a really disappointing performance. They just didn't seem to be able to do the right thing. Justin Holiday got to start yesterday. You know, he had 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, but he was 2 of 8 from the field. Really bad down the stretch of the game as well. And Reggie Jackson, man, he got a little nicked up, it looked like. He played 29 minutes, but his defense honestly just was not good yesterday. It wasn't good. And Justin Holiday's defense wasn't good in that second half. And, you know, again, I realized that the Nuggets were playing without their 2 of their starters and their second best player, but they just didn't have the cohesion. And this is one thing I want to bring up. Jokic getting doubled in the post, but everyone around him was not cutting or taking shots that break. Now, yeah, absolutely. Some of that is true. Joker should have been aggressive. Obviously, I acknowledge that. But when Colin was in the game, Colin yesterday played 18 minutes, scored 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting, was a -6. And Colin, when he was in the game, in the fourth quarter, Malone was riding Colin Gillespie's minutes, and he was sitting at the top of the key, and literally Sacramento would just double off of Collins' man, and then the Nuggets got stuck in a really bad rotation that forced up a really bad shot that they didn't convert. And a lot of this is because Colin was getting targeted on defense. De'Aaron Fox started going against Colin. And then on the other end, Colin wasn't doing anything offensively, so therefore, like, he was just a negative. He had 1 assist and 3 points in 18 minutes. And he wasn't a good defender. And I've said this multiple times. I just think that there's an archetype you put around Joker. That archetype is long, defensive-minded guards. Short, not a great defender, not a great shooter. Those players don't work with Joker. That's Facu Campazzo. Facu didn't work. Facu is one of the only players in the Jokic era that has a negative net rating with Joker, especially since Joker entered his MVP phase in 2020. He just doesn't have the skill set. And yesterday, he just didn't do enough. Colin had 1 assist. And as your lead guard off the bench, he had 3 turnovers and 1 assist and 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting. That is not good enough. But that's not a Colin issue. I said yesterday, Colin's one of the 600 best players in the world. No doubt. But on this Denver Nuggets team, it doesn't fit. But ultimately, the game wasn't lost because of Colin. The game was lost because the team was not good enough. They have not been good enough defensively. They were not good enough offensively. They got stalled out multiple times on multiple possessions. Now, Zeke Naji off the bench, 8 points and 2 rebounds. He wasn't even last night. He played good. 9 minutes played yesterday. Played good. Christian Brown, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists off the bench. He was a +3. Again, not great games, but Zeke and Christian played 23 minutes yesterday. Zeke played 9 whenever Joker wasn't in the game, basically. But, that last stretch of the game, y'all, they had Reggie Jackson and Justin Holiday out there with Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, and Nikola Jokic, and literally Reggie Jackson got stripped by De'Aaron Fox when they were down 2 points. That just maybe 5 points with like 2. I can't even remember what the score was. Completely offset the game. I think it might have been 2. And his defense was bad. Like, there's just not a lot of value that those players were adding, but then it didn't make sense because there were some other things that Malone could have went into. But we're going to talk about that in the second segment because there's definitely some stuff to get into here because it's just some things that are just not percolating well right now with this team. And we're going to talk about that and why Malone, there's just some questions to be asked about it. But we'll talk about that and more in segment 2 with Locked On Nuggets. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on a 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of 1/4 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. We'll be right back. Segment 2, Locked On Nuggets. All right, y'all, we are back here for segment 2 with Locked On Nuggets, and we are talking about the Denver Nuggets off of another loss, 3 straight losses. But let's have a conversation, y'all. Can I be honest with y'all? A little vulnerable, if I may say. I have been very frustrated by the Denver Nuggets as of late. Very frustrated. Now, it is not changing my title prediction. This is not changing how I feel about the team. This is not changing the outlook of Jokic and Murray and KCP and Porter and Aaron Gordon or Peyton Watson becoming a really important player for this Denver Nuggets team. What this is affecting is I just don't understand sometimes why this team chooses to turn it off and on. Now, Michael Malone addressed this, and he said that there's injuries and there's fatigue that are leading up to this. Michael Malone solely believes that it's injuries that's leading up to what's happening. And again, that's true. They've been missing players in and out of rotation, no doubt. But some of this is also you can still beat the Kings. And respect to the Bucks, you can still beat the Bucks. Now, Jamal Murray and KCP didn't play in the second half. No doubt. So maybe you can lean into that. But Jamal Murray was there versus the Kings in the first game. The Denver Nuggets were there. Michael Porter Jr. and KCP, they weren't there. But they had opportunities. Now, Justin Holiday was starting. But I think some of this is, I want y'all to hear this. So since I tracked this, y'all remember January 25th, the Denver Nuggets played New York Knicks. Since that game, they played 10 games, including the Knicks game. The Denver Nuggets are 5-5 since January 25th. The Denver Nuggets have the 27th ranked net rating in the NBA since January 25th. The Denver Nuggets have a 109.3 offensive rating since January 25th. The Denver Nuggets have a 115.2 defensive rating since January 25th. A minus 5.9. Here are the other teams that are right next to the Denver Nuggets in the negative net rating standard. These are the bottom 5 teams in the league over the last 10 games. The Charlotte Hornets, the Denver Nuggets, the Wizards, the Spurs, and the Grizzlies have the worst offenses in the league over that stretch. The Nuggets net rating is tied with the Spurs, right ahead of the Jazz, right ahead of the Wizards, and then right below the Brooklyn Nets, the Trailblazers, the Pistons, and the Bulls. Let me ask you this question. Are any of these teams in championship hunt? No, they're not. Now, the 76ers were, but there's been no Embiid. These games, the next closest team with real playoff aspirations is the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're a minus 0.1. The Nuggets have been one of the worst basketball teams in the NBA the last 10 games since they got blown out by 38 points to the New York Knicks in New York after they beat Boston, obviously. Remember, they beat Boston, they beat the Pacers, they beat the Wizards. And since that point, they were 14-4, I believe, over an 18-game stretch. And they have been abysmal ever since that point. So some of this is the Nuggets right now, they're 0-3 versus the Kings. They're now 1-3 versus the Rockets. That's 1-6. They're 0-2 versus the Magic. So these teams are elite teams. But what it shows is that the Denver Nuggets so far this year, that when they have opportunities to not play at their A level, they take it. When they do have opportunities to play at their A level, they do, and they usually win. So it's not that they don't have the ceiling. It's just the problem is their floor has been this, like losing to the Kings on the back-to-back, losing to the Kings by 29, being down to the Bucks by 28, losing to the Knicks by 38. That's been their floor. And it's really frustrating, obviously, to watch. And the Nuggets, man, they're just in a situation now where we're having to deal with a lot of things around the team with injuries, all that stuff. But listen to this. So Colin Gillespie, like I said yesterday, he played a lot of minutes. He played 18 minutes yesterday. Y'all, Peyton Watson played 16. Christian Brown played 23. My question is, why is Justin Holiday, by the way, yesterday, played 35 minutes. He played 12 more than Christian, and played 19 more than Peyton Watson, both of whom are your first-round picks, both of who are guaranteed playoff fixtures in your lineup. Malone, it felt like yesterday, and as of late, has really retreated into his veteran thing. Even what he said about Colin prior to the game yesterday, where he said he's a Big East player, he's an NCAA champion, he's a tough player, tough-minded player who you like a lot of different qualities about. Do you know who that reminds me of? It reminds me of him talking about Facundo Campazzo. I get it that he is, again, a very accomplished collegiate basketball player. That doesn't have anything to do with this team or with what this team needs right now. And he played entirely too long yesterday. Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, those are players in your rotation. Why didn't they finish over Justin Holiday yesterday? Justin Holiday took 2 shots in the clutch. That made no sense. And again, this is still not blaming Justin. This is a collection of things. It's not just Justin. It's not just Colin. Jokic didn't play well yesterday. Arguably his worst game of the year for me. The Nuggets have struggled as of late. But it's all of these things put together where it didn't make sense why we're struggling to get out a win. And you have, and again, if Reggie is nicked up, Reggie played 29 minutes yesterday. If he's nicked up, then do what you did last year. Put Christian in. Put Peyton in. Go with all the wings. Play defense on the perimeter. And my whole thing is, if Jalen Pickett is not ready, why does he have a roster spot? Colin Gillespie's on a 2-way. He can't play in the playoff. Why does he have a roster spot? If you're not confident that you don't have another guard outside of Reggie Jackson, who you didn't play over Bruce Brown, who, if Bruce Brown was on the roster right now, Reggie wouldn't be playing over Bruce Brown. Why didn't you sign another guard? Where is that? Chris Dunn, DeLon Wright, Dennis Smith Jr. You need more defensive-minded guards on the court, because Reggie yesterday on an off-ball option, it was an out of timeout play. Reggie is his back turned to the ball. It's like, and Joker is like, it's like a little switch is about to happen, on like a little curl screen about to begin. And Reggie's just staring at the baseline and gets backdoored, and it leads to wide open points. And I'm just like, yo, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? And again, the Nuggets, and I think I said this earlier to some people, I know the Nuggets know that they're better than anybody when it matters. I know they know that because they've done it this year and obviously did through a finals last year. But the thing is that what that does, that sometimes dictates their level of aggression versus teams that they just feel like they don't have to be aggressive against: the Kings, the Rockets, the Magic, We don't have to play all our guys versus OKC. We don't have to close with Christian and Peyton versus OKC because we believe and we know we get in a dogfight with you, we're going to come out on top 4 times out of 7, which I think is true. But what it leads to these lulls. It leads to these lulls. And I'm trying to understand, though, what needs to happen for them that these last 27 games of the year, they're like, all right, let's get back to that 1 seed territory because it would be really beneficial if we were going to lock into a 1 or 2 seed this year. But anyway, we'll talk about more on segment 3. Do the Denver Nuggets still have enough, given where they are, given the youth on the bench, given the things that have happened in the last 2 weeks? Are we sure the Denver Nuggets have enough to win another NBA championship? But we'll be right back here for more Locked On Nuggets. So, y'all, the team at Hungry Roots, man, if you're looking for easier ways to grocery shop and meal plan for specific dietary needs, or you have preferences that you might find a little challenging, this is a great source for you because Hungry Roots has everything that you need to get the job done. You can save money with Hungry Roots. You can reduce food waste, and you also get a special discount code of 40% off and everything else, and free and veggies possibly for life. It's really an amazing thing. Hungry Roots, if you're partner in healthy living, is the easiest way to get fresh, high-quality groceries, simple, healthy recipes delivered right to your door. You can take a fun, short quiz, and Hungry Roots will get to know your personal health goals, what you like to eat, the kitchen appliances you use, and more. And then they'll build you a personalized cart with your grocery needs for the week and give you delicious recipe recommendation to put those good groceries to use. Hungry Roots will recommend recipes and groceries based on your personal taste, but each order is fully customizable. Take their suggestions and choose anything you want. They got fresh produce, high-quality meat and seafood, pantry staples, healthy snacks, sweet, ready-to-eat meals, and much more. Y'all, telling y'all what, everything from Hungry Roots follows a simple standard. It's got to taste good, be quick to make, and contain whole, trusted ingredients. Save hours of planning, shopping, and cooking. Hungry Roots delivers food you'll love. Right now, Hungry Roots is offering Locked On NBA Nuggets 40% off your first deliveries and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroots.com/lockedon and get 40% off your first delivery and get your first free veggie. That's hungryroots.com/lockedon. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you. We'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. So, y'all, we are back for segment 3 here at Locked On Nuggets. Shout out to y'all. So glad y'all are here today, even after the Denver Nuggets suffer their 3rd straight loss. But here we are. How do we feel about the Denver Nuggets right now? Do we think the Denver Nuggets still have enough to win a championship? Do we feel the Denver Nuggets have enough with Jamal, KCP, Porter, Gordon, Jokic, Peyton, Christian, Reggie, maybe Zeke? Is that enough? Now, Calvin Booth said this. Calvin Booth said that they were going to build through the draft because of the new CBA agreement, that they were going to go into the season with this team, that they're more likely going to end the season with this team, and that they know that they want to win championships in a multi-year window. Going back-to-back is difficult, so they want to win championships in a multi-year window, which makes sense with the CBA agreement. Because of the way things worked out, because the Nuggets have the best starting 5 in basketball, what it means is that you're going to have to build through the draft. And Peyton and Christian and Julian Strawther, they're all first-round picks in the last 2 years. But they're all going to come at their own pace. They're all going to grow at their own pace. They're all going to get better at their own pace. So you kind of have to be very, very, very elite and then usher on these new young players to fit these very specific team roles. And Zeke Naji is also into that, even though, his contract hasn't paid out so far. But like I said, if Zeke Naji could play like he did yesterday, he could play every game. He literally could play every game. I still believe that the Denver Nuggets have enough. They're sitting at 36-19. They were 36-16. They were dominating. They had stretches versus really good teams this year where they won. And when they get off the All-Star break, they're going to have a really great opportunity to put a lot of really important wins together. The Nuggets are going to have the Wizards, the Trailblazers, the Warriors, the Kings, and the Heat. That's going to be 3 home games and 2 away games as soon as the All-Star break is over. And then they got the Lakers, Suns, and Celtics right after that. So, y'all, in this 8-game stretch, they're going to play the Warriors, the Kings, the Heat, Lakers, Suns, and Celtics, all playoff teams. But these are all teams the Nuggets know that they can beat. And I think you can get the season back on the turn you want to get it on if you can go on a nice little win streak. They should beat the Warriors. They should beat the Trailblazers. They should beat the Wizards. And then that Kings game is going to be in Denver. You need to win that one so that way you can get one of them on the season. And then you're playing versus the Heat for an NBA Finals rematch in Denver. Those are 5 wins right on the table. And then you go to LA. And then you got the Suns and Celtics and Jazz and Raptors at home for a 4-game road stand after that Lakers game. So for me, I think that they should be in a situation where once they get off this break, Jamal Murray, you got 27 games left. KCP, Gordon, Porter, Jokic, 27 games left. Jokic, I know that you don't care about winning the MVP, but you can be one of like 9 players, I believe, to win an MVP 3 times. Again, I believe it would be Joker, it would be LeBron, it would be Mike, it would be Magic, it would be Larry, it would be Moses, it would be Wilt, and it would be Bill Russell. I think that's the 9 players if Jokic wins his 3rd MVP. Now, again, I know Jokic doesn't love that stuff, but this is a chance to put yourself in like the upper echelon ever for players. Ever. I would love to see Joker not go after it as a point of like selling out, but Joker, 25, 13, and 10, really good efficiency. Say, the Denver Nuggets, they go 19-8 the last 27 games of the year. You're booking it. You're booking it. And they can. The Nuggets are 30. They're 36-19. If they went 19-8, that's a 55-win season. They've shown they can do it. They have. But some of this is just they got to put themselves in a position where they just do what they know they can do, and they do it more consistently. And again, the Blazers and the Wizards, whatever. You're coming out of the All-Star break. You don't care about those games. That Warriors, Kings, Heat, Lakers, Suns, Celtic game, all 6 of those games should be games they care about. All of them. All of them. The Warriors, you might have to play them in the playoff. Get it done. But Steen, listen to me, though. I know people are really down on them right now. They've already done it. That's what I'm trying to tell people. They were 21-9 over a 30-game stretch before they started losing these games. 21-9. They were 16 and not – well, what were they? I want to say they were 17-8 over a 25-game stretch. They were 14-4 over an 18-game stretch. They've already done it. The issue is once they beat Boston, y'all, they beat Boston, the Wizards, and the Pacers, lost to the Knicks, then they beat the 76ers, then they beat the Bucks at home, and then Jokic didn't play. They lost to the Thunder, then they beat the Trailblazers, beat the Lakers, and then lose 3 straight games. So, even in this win profile, though, they've beaten a lot of really good teams. The problem is that they just choose so often to I don't think I want to go all out right now. We can kind of coast. But the thing is, you know what the most frustrating thing about the Nuggets is? If they're not wrong, they are the best team. They have the best player. They have the best duo. And they close better than anybody. But the issue is that in the regular season, you just want to see them do it. You're playing some really good teams down the stretch. Again, the teams, Warriors, Kings, Heat, Lakers, Suns, Celtics, the Jazz, they're still fighting for a play-in. Heat again, they got the Mavericks, the Timberwolves, and the Knicks in 3 straight games. Suns, Timberwolves, Cavs, Clippers again on April 4th. Timberwolves again on April 10th. So a lot of this is that the Nuggets, it's just about them locking in mentally. And I will say this, the Nuggets just lost 3 games. The last time the Nuggets lost 3 games in a row was in December 2nd, 6th, and 8th. Kings, Clippers, Rockets. The Nuggets then went over the next, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over the next 10 games, the Denver Nuggets went 9-1. They won 3 straight. Hawks, Bulls, Heat, lost to the Thunder by 1. Again, that's the game that Peyton Watson closed. I want to say Justin Holiday started that game. Peyton Watson and Christian closed, and then Justin Holiday started that game because there was no KCP. Then they beat the Mavericks, dog beat them, like 130-104. The Raptors, the Nets, the Hornets, Warriors again, and then the Grizzlies 142-105. And then, like I said, they lost to the Thunder again. Then they beat the Hornets and beat the Warriors. Like they've already done this. It's just a matter of doing it again. And Jokic, Murray, especially y'all, locking and taking care of business. I still very, very confident in them winning the championship again this year. It's very frustrating in the regular season to watch the team sometimes, but again, it's a part of basketball. I do believe Malone, as the season gets on, goes longer, as the playoff rotation gets tighter, he gets better. Jokic will get better as well, but you just want to make sure you're taking care of business. But again, enjoy the 7-game break, the 7-day break for all of you. I hope the Nuggets enjoy the 7-day break. That way they can get their bodies right, get ready. Jokic can get some of this fatigue out of his system, playing a lot of basketball lately. And then the Denver Nuggets, we'll see what they do. Y'all, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe for us on YouTube. Make sure you download the show on Apple iTunes. Give us a 5-star review so more people can listen to this show. Matt, Adam, myself, extremely thankful for all of you and how y'all tap in with us every single day. We'll see y'all tomorrow.